Welcome to a month in my reading life.
Well, good morning. I know I just talked about this in the last video, at the end of the last video, but Jango is not sleeping well, and so he's been waking us up multiple times at night the last couple of nights to go outside. And last night I acted like we were parents of babies again. I said to my husband, I was like, it's your turn to go. That's what we used to do when the babies need to be fed. It'd be like, it's your turn. It's your turn. So that's what I did again last night. Anyway, my plans for today, I was supposed to have an early morning workout, which I completely slept through. But that just means that I'll have to do a recorded one, and I'll just move it till later in the day and squeeze it in there. I am getting a massage and a facial for the first time today. So maybe later this afternoon, I'm going to come on here and you guys are going to be like, who is that? I'm sure that's how they work, right? I'm going to be unrecognizable after my facial. I'm just kidding. But on the way there, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes to get there. So that's going to be almost an hour of the audiobook that I'm going to listen to on the way there and on the way back. Otherwise, it's a normal work day where I'm just going to get all my work done as quickly as possible, and then I'm going to have some time to read. I do have a puzzle that I just got that is bookish related, and so that's probably what I'll do this afternoon. We do on Tuesdays, we go out to eat as a family, and it's my turn to pick where we go to eat. So I'm thinking about that, trying to decide where we're going to go, but I think that's all. And I'm sure that I'll check in throughout the day. I liked how I did it yesterday, where I kind of popped in to say like, okay, this is how I'm reading this part. And so that's my plan right now. I'm about to read the short story, since I always read that first thing in the morning. And then I'm going to get going with the rest of my day and the work that I have to do and go into my facial. So I'll check back in though. Well, I got a facial. I still have the same face. I also picked up a kit that they sold me because apparently my skin is really dry. I mean, I already knew that. I don't know why I said apparently. I knew that my skin was dry. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not what we're here for. But I did finish my reading. I got there a few minutes early, so I read a little bit of this there. And then when I got home, I read a little bit more. But my boys pre-ordered the Lego Star Wars game, and so I went by and picked it up on my way home, and they are so happy. It is so nice to see them playing this game together, just like they have all the Lego games, and it makes me sad that we've got 25 days left before our 18-year-old moves out. And we'll just have one kid at home, and he won't have his brother here to play games with him anymore. So I just didn't read anything, and I just sat in there with them for a little bit and watched the beginning of the game and watched it all load up and just saw how excited they both were. Like it was just they were 8 years old getting a Lego game again. It was so fun. So now I've got to get some work done. It's almost 4 o'clock and I'm almost finished with the work for today, but I do need to finish up a few things. And then I think I've read like 2 pages in this book today. So I've got a lot more because I'm reading 8 chapters a day, which roughly works out to about 50 pages. And then I haven't read any in this today. So I'm going to leave these out here on my desk. We are supposed to be doing dinner tonight out. It's my pick, but since they're having such a good time in there with the Lego game, I think what I might do is just pick pizza for my night, and we'll just bring the pizza here, and then they can pause their game for a second while we eat together, and then they can go right back to playing, because this isn't going to happen very long. So I'm being all sentimental tonight. And so I think that's what we're going to do. But that means also that while they're playing the game, I can go in there and watch them play for a little bit, and then I can come back in here and do some work. Yes, Skeeter is barking at a squirrel outside, which I will go and get her in just a second. But Jango seems to be feeling fine today. But he felt seemed to be fine yesterday too. And I know you can't really see it, but right here is the door that goes outside of our house, outside of our house, and it just stays open with this screen on it, and the dogs can go in and out all day. So who knows, he might be going out more often than I know, but I just don't notice it during the day because that door pretty much stays open, especially unless the weather's bad, and it's just hot, but the weather's not bad right now. So that is it, I think, for this update. I'm definitely going to finish A Gentleman in Moscow. I listened to it during all my driving today, and I'm 75% of the way through. I just have a little over 2 hours left on audio. So I'm definitely going to finish this today because if nothing else, I'll have time when I lay in the bed at night. That's another thing that we haven't discussed. I try to go upstairs between 10 and 11 at night, and I don't go to bed until about 1 in the morning. So I always have a significant amount of time to do audiobooks up in the bed. And then I get up between 7:30 and 8, except on Tuesdays, I need to be up for a 7 o'clock class, which did not happen today. We already talked about that. So I need to try to squeeze that class in. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I can read this book while I ride on the bike. So I might just go ride on the bike and read this, and that'll be my workout for today and not doing an actual class, because the point is just to move every day. So I think that's what I'm going to go do. But anyway, I will report back probably tomorrow morning, because I will have finished A Gentleman in Moscow. We can talk about that, which I am loving, by the way. Loving. And I think that's all. So I'll see you later. I don't want to say I'll see you tomorrow because I feel like I'll check back in, but I'll see you in the later time. Next clip. Okay, it is bedtime, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm about to have Jango pick the next book because I only have about an hour left in the A Gentleman in Moscow book. So the plan is this. I'm going to tell you about it, and as I'm telling you, you'll be watching what I actually do, but I haven't done it yet. So I have old yearbooks that belong to my parents, and then I've got mine, and I've got my husband's. So I'm just going to pick out 4 yearbooks. Then I'm going to take 4 of the audiobooks that I have right here. These are all the audiobooks that I want to read this month, and there are a lot of them. But I'm going to take 4 of them. I'm going to lay them out on the desk and just randomly pick 4 and put those on top of the yearbooks. And then I'm going to put a treat on each of the yearbooks, and I'm going to call Jango in the room, and we will see what he chooses, and that's going to be my next read. We accidentally left the back door open, and there are hard shell beetle bugs now in my office, and I'm losing my mind about it. And I can hear one, I think. Good morning. I got more sleep last night because of this guy. I think he's feeling better. And he at least felt good enough to sleep all night last night. So he seems to be doing a lot better. And I just got more sleep in general. So let's get this wrapped up, ready to start the next day. All right. Last night, he picked the book for me. You saw that, but I didn't tell you what the book was. Let me get the book cover for you, because I definitely don't have this in person. And it is H is for Hawk. I'll just put a picture up here. This one is my NPR 2015 for books around the world, or around the world. I don't know what it's called. But that was also where the A Gentleman in Moscow came from. That was one of my around the world things. And I did fill out my reading journal for that one. And I also put the cover. I didn't put the cover in that journal because it goes in my reading spread over here. And so I put it in here. And so it is right here. And I'm not taping them in there because I'm going to put them all together in there. So I didn't tape it in yet because I'm going to do that in a top-down video where I update the whole reading journal, and you'll be able to see that. I'm hopefully going to be filming that this week so that one of these videos coming up will have those in there. So, what else? I finished The Gentleman in Moscow last night. I started H is for Hawk. I know I just read a historical fiction and now I'm going into a nonfiction, and that feels very not good for me. But I didn't get far in H is for Hawk, and we will just see how it goes. I know that the lady that wrote it is the one who's reading the audiobook, and I have it from Libby from my library. And what else about it? I don't know anything yet. It's set in England. But let's talk about A Gentleman in Moscow real quick, and then we'll be done for today. This book started out so slow, and I thought, oh, there's too many people in here to know. There's too many things that I don't know about that's going on. It's set in Russia. This man, at the very beginning, has written something that the Bolsheviks do not like, and so he is put under house arrest at a fancy hotel right across from the Kremlin in Moscow. And so that's where the whole book takes place, practically, is in this hotel. And that seems claustrophobic, but it wasn't for me. It was just confusing at the beginning to figure out who he was and what was happening. And I feel like, number one, if you are a fan of Russian literature, you, I think, will really enjoy this book. They talk about Tolstoy, and they talk about Dostoevsky, and they even talk about Tchaikovsky, which I know is music, not books. But I think that if you like Russian literature, you would really enjoy this book. Now, the downside of it was that we just spent a lot of time at the beginning establishing the location and maybe what was happening kind of around him, but not any of the larger things of Russia. Like, we know at one point that Stalin is the leader of Russia, but there's not a ton of mentioned about World War II and what's going on with all of that, even though he's living in the hotel through that time period. We just don't get a lot of that. But about halfway, I would say, about halfway through the book, no, not even halfway, maybe right after he gets put under house arrest, he meets a little girl who is staying there with her family, and she is just, he thinks that she's cute, and he follows her. He doesn't follow her. She comes over to him, and she's like, what happened to your mustache? Which, by the way, they call it mustaches, and I've noticed in a lot of these books, and I just wonder if they used to call them mustaches, and now they only call it one. I don't know. Anyway, they said mustaches. It's not the first time they've said that in a book before, so I don't know why, but whatever. So she comes over to him and she's talking to him, and then she'd go away for a little while, and then she'd come back, and then she'd go away, and she'd come back. So I guess her family, when they went on vacation, this is where they stayed, in Moscow. So anyway, we get to see kind of her as she grows up, and then things happen to her and her family as she's an adult, and that involve the Count. I can't say too much because I feel like I'm going to be giving things away. I will just say that I really, really enjoyed the last 75%. And the first 25 was just a little slow, which is why it got 4.5 stars instead of 5. But I enjoyed it so much more than I thought that I would, and it was great. So that is where we are right now. Let's talk about some stats. Okay, here are today's stats. Also, if you hear a popping noise that almost sounds like fireworks, it is actually called a bird cannon, and it is how they clear the runway of birds for flights that they have today, because I live on an Air Force installation and there are lots of birds. Okay, stats. Here we go. For today. Yesterday, I read 164 pages and 7 hours and 57 minutes of audio for a total now for the month of 627 pages and 29 hours and 11 minutes of audio. And that is where we are right now, and one more book finished. The book that I finished also, I didn't say, but it doesn't satisfy any prompts or any extra outside things, except that it's my NPR read for the month. And so I'm just keeping on with what I got going on. I should be finishing some books in tomorrow's video because I got some that I'll be done with today. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.